So every few episodes, I like to give a confession.
You are known for your confessions.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I mean, they're not major. I didn't, this week I didn't kill or rape anybody, but no, it's not that.
Speaking of which, but anyways, go ahead. I'll bring it up.
Speaking of killing and raping,
yeah.
What?
No, right? Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby
did you see he was convicted finally?
Called somebody an asshole or something like that. He said it in court.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's something about like his passports or flight risk. He's like, I got a plane, asshole, or something like that. I don't remember the exact quote.
This we record well in advance, so this recording was on the day Bill Cosby was convicted. What's your confession, my friend?
My confession is, it's not major, but in last episode, the Age of Ultron episode, I think it was, I was saying, one of the ones where I ended up talking about my diet.
Right. Yeah.
And I proudly said that I don't work out. Well, would you know it? This week, I bought a little dumbbell set and I started working out a little bit.
Did it have anything to do with what we talked about in the show?
But I was listening back to the show. I'm like, man, I sound like a moron. But like a lot of the things that, I will say this, and this is, I guess, generally true for me as a person. I have strong opinions, but they are all subject to change given new information.
So you were against working out before, would you say?
I have not. Well, I worked out when I was like maybe 15 or 16. I worked out for like a year, and it was good. And then I just gave it up and never worked out again. I hurt my knee a few months back, and I started doing basically my own physical therapy at home.
Right.
With some Dr. YouTube telling me how to.
You're always showing up with your knee brace there.
It's just it's a little knee sleeve, which helps.
I don't think it does anything, but
right, you're not wearing it. You don't have the pain that I have, so it's strange for you to comment on what helps my knee and what doesn't. But the biggest thing has been the some of the exercises I've been doing. So I've actually gotten into a routine, exercising my legs, just like little leg lifts and stuff like that. It actually helped. But a while ago, I kind of messed up. I hurt my shoulder, the back of my shoulder. I've always felt like my upper back and shoulders have been a bit weak. So I decided, I'm going to maybe get some cheap dumbbells and start doing some exercise. I'm not looking to gain mass or size or to be this big jacked guy or anything like that, but just to give myself some strength.
Don't want to be no Rambo or anything.
No, I mean, because it's not in the cards.
Well, you never know. Don't sell yourself short.
I'm not going to work my legs. I don't care what the general weightlifting advice is that you need to be balanced and all that, because nobody cares, right? I'm just looking to get a little bit of strength in my upper back and shoulders, roughly. So I started working out. I mean, I'm not enjoying a gym. I'm not doing anything crazy.
It's like some dumbbells.
20 minutes every other day, basically, just a dumbbell set. But here I am, guy who was mocking the people who work out, proudly saying he does not work out. Just a week and a half ago, today I did some lifts. With
so you do curls, I'm sure. What else do you do with the dumbbells?
Well, anything that really can exercise your shoulders. So I'll do like presses.
Yeah.
I've done some shrugs, any kind of rowing,
nice
stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So I did some chest flies. You
can work out your legs too with those.
Yeah, you can.
Do like squats and stuff.
But I don't care about legs. Well, plus I'm doing my.
Well, your knee could probably use it.
I'm doing those exercises.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to complicate things and turn it into some whole thing. So, I'm going to do my shoulder stuff and my arm stuff and my chest stuff just to keep it light. I'm not going to do any I'm not going to get into crunches. I'm not going to do this whole body thing. We'll see, right? Maybe next week I'll tell you how.
Yeah, we'll give you. I'll definitely be asking for an update next time. That's for sure.
But it is funny to hear yourself.
I know.
Say something that you've completely changed, and I don't. I mean, that's who I am, I guess, right? I'm not the same person all the time. I do change my mind. I do occasionally change what I do.
Folks, he is not perfect as you might have thought. So
the impression there was,
I bought dumbbells a couple years ago because I was doing that. I had signed up for one of those Spartan races where you go and you crawl under barbed wire.
Is that like
and
a CrossFit kind of thing?
It was at Raymond James Stadium where the Bucks play. And it was like 3 miles, I think, a sprint, but you're doing like.
You did this?
Yeah, I did it. So I signed up for one. So I bought dumbbells, beforehand to get myself prepped for it and everything. Yeah. Haven't touched it since. But I still have the dumbbells. Yeah, I completed it. I have a medal and everything, a shirt. A medal and a shirt.
What kind of dumbbells do you have? Because I'm actually I bought some like cheap vinyl ones, and I actually want to buy.
Yeah, they're not like the metal. Yeah, that's what I have too. But I actually bought a couple more like metal ones, like just to add to it because it didn't seem like enough.
That's what I want to get. I just got like a cheap. It was like $15 at Walmart. Yeah, for like they're only like 20 pounds each. I'm like, this is quickly gonna run out, right?
Well, that's why I got extra ones. That's probably the exact one I got.
I may want to actually maybe look at what you got. Maybe buy.
I'll bring it out after the show. But
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I did the Spartan race in
you can actually do
Raymond James Stadium.
That's amazing. Well, you never mentioned that. That's cool, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
How many people actually finished that thing?
I mean, everyone can finish it. I wasn't one of the contenders to be like.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Because there's people who do it. Because the thing is, if you don't complete a task within the race, then you have to do like 30 burpees and like 30 push-ups.
What a stupid name.
But I skipped those.
A burpee is just a name for jumping and
then going down and doing a push-up, I think.
Okay, what's the name? Who came up?
Yeah, it's stupid. It's a stupid name.
I don't want to be.
We're advocating to change the name on Blockbuster Mentality.
I don't like fitness guy. I don't like workout guy. Yeah. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be CrossFit guy. I don't. That's like, it's almost like you're going like beyond bettering yourself, and now you're getting into like a subculture that's just doing its own thing. For me, this is a little bit of self-improvement. See how long it goes. But I figured I'm already actually into a leg routine. I do these exercises almost every day because they really help. I figure, why not, if I'm already doing this, why not, target the areas that I think I need work on?
That's true. Do you think you'll ever look like Hugh Jackman and Logan?
I see. That's actually my transition. The man is 50 years old. And
my God.
He's quite the specimen.
Is he
50? Yeah.
Dang.
He's looking pretty good for 50. Yeah, you could see like, his age a little bit on his skin.
Right, yeah.
The way things are, but he's looking good.
If you look at how he looked in 2000's X-Men, the first X-Men, he looks more ripped than he did then.
Yeah, he does. I mean, you also have to wonder what he's taking to look like that. But still, I mean, he has a sort of a tall and slender frame,
right?
Which, if you can work out, I mean, you can look great like that, you know, because you're naturally skinny and long. So if you add muscle to that, you're jacked. I mean, yeah.
Which he's actually taller in Wolverine in the comics. Which I know you're great about the comics. He was actually he's a short character in the comics.
Yeah, the Wolverine. He's got to be 5'5" or something, right? He's always he's like this wide character.
Right?
Yeah. He's
Hugh Jackman's like 6'2", 6'3".
Gotta be.
Yeah. I mean that's one differentiation.
We are. Yeah, so this is Logan.
Yeah, 2017. Logan 2017.
Wow, what a movie! I mean, it's just this
brutal.
This is a Marvel movie. You've got some sort of a differentiation here. So this is unlike any other Marvel movie I've ever seen. It's rated R, and you said there's something here about this is not owned by Disney.
Right. So Marvel Studios is owned by Disney. This is the X-Men characters in the X-Men franchise is owned by Fox.
But Marvel does the non-television and film universe. X-Men are in the same as Captain America, or not?
In the comic books, yes, X-Men is the same as Captain America. Yes, exactly.
The Marvel universe.
They're all Marvel. Marvel comics are all the same. So movie rights are different. So certain studios could buy certain movie rights, and the thing with movie rights is you buy the character. If you don't make a movie with that character within, say, it depends on the stipulations when they first get the character. If you don't, make a movie with that character or that franchise within a certain amount of time, 4 years, 6 years, whatever.
Do you have any examples of those that happen?
The rights revert back to Marvel Studios or Marvel to then distribute to whoever they want to.
Marvel is a company that owns these characters, and they then sell them or license them out to studios.
To Marvel Studios, which is owned by Disney, or Fox, or Sony, which has Spider-Man.
But we've seen Spider-Man within the...
Yep, so Sony and Marvel Studios made a deal... So Sony, because they weren't doing anything with their Spider-Man movies, so they said, okay, we'll make a deal with you. We'll let you use them in Spider-Man in your movies if we get a cut.
Well, those movies stunk. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Those movies stunk.
And I don't know why you're looking at me like a nerd. Like, this is actually like movie studio.
No, I know that's not. I'm not looking at
knowledge. This knowledge. Isn't like.
Well, it actually helps explain a lot of things for me. So basically, if Disney had bought the whole thing, then we would be seeing the X-Men in all of these other movies that we're talking about.
Right.
And they're simply not. because
Fox is held onto the rights because they keep making movies. Even if they're bad, they keep making movies.
Well, in a sense, I'm almost kind of glad because I don't even know how that even works. I don't know how the X-Men universe exists in a Tony Stark.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, movie wise, I am glad they're separated because if you put even more characters into that,
but I just don't even see how it would work. I mean, you have what does S.H.I.E.L.D. have to do versus because X-Men is very political, right? It's very much about I think it's like you have your president and these people, but now with the Avengers, you've got like S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this other stuff.
Right.
So I don't know how that would really that would be just although. You've got the two twins from the Age of Ultron movie, which are, I would almost want to say they're X-Men in a sense.
They are, actually. Okay. There's a couple of X-Men characters who both, for some reason or another, both studios were able to use.
So it's like I'll let you have Scarlet Witch and...
It's Quicksilver. Yeah, because Quicksilver's actually in some of the X-Men movies, like Days of Future Past and the Apocalypse movie, the newer X-Men ones.
But he's not the... Wait,
they're different actors.
That's the same?
Yeah, Quicksilver in Age of Ultron is the same as the Quicksilver in like Days of Future Past.
And
different actor.
But what was not Days of Future Past? What's the... Okay. So it's the same speed guys, the same guy?
Exactly. Yep.
In the X-Men movies, it was played by a much younger character, I believe, right?
They're about the same age.
But it's the same guy. It's the same character.
Same character.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, there you go.
That was actually my favorite part of the last X-Men movie, which was, I don't know what the name of it was. It wasn't Days of Future Past, was it?
Apocalypse? X-Men Apocalypse? I mean, Logan, maybe. I think, technically was the last X-Men
Well, no,
movie.
But I mean the one where they were...
First Class? X-Men First Class?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, I don't know.
You're not the comic book guy.
But I didn't really like either one of them because I think I told you, I think I end up feeling sympathetic for the bad guys, which is maybe the mutants are actually a problem. Yeah. Maybe we should eliminate them.
Yeah, that's true. So did you see any of the ones with Michael Fassbender?
I did. Those, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think
it's probably you probably saw Days of Future Past.
That's the last one?
No, Apocalypse was the last one.
I've seen
Oscar
that one
Isaac
too.
was the bad guy. So that was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought there was one where there's like, are made of dreams, whatever that song is, and then he's like going back and forth, and that's like...
Yeah, that's Days of Future Past.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's the one with Quicksilver. That's a great scene.
Who am I to disagree?
So the X-Men Quicksilver...
Travel the world in the 7 seas.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
So that Quicksilver actually liked better in the X-Men.
Me too.
How they used him better.
Way better.
Age of Ultron.
Not even close. He was just this angry guy with a Russian accent. It's like, I'm going to protect my sister.
Keep up, old man.
Yeah.
Get out of here, old man. But
Days of Future Past is probably my favorite one of those.
See, I think, Apocalypse sucked. Days of Future Past, I liked. I might need to see it again. I just kind of thought it was overrated.
It would. I mean, they're all overrated. But First Class, I don't like. James McAvoy, I don't think is really Charles Xavier. I never see him as him.
Yeah,
and then I get tired of their. I think I probably said this in an old episode. The whole thing between him and Eric, it's like, okay, man, Magneto's bad, so stop trying.
Yeah, just leave him alone,
or fight him. Just fight him from like minute one, or pre-fight him. Just go after him. Stop saying, "Hey, we were friends. Remember back then?" And now I'm gonna change your mind.
You do you. Let him do him.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Do you agree though that plot wise, that's just stupid for?
I mean, it's
for Charles to try to keep reaching out to Eric.
They're obviously going off the source material. I don't know. I never had a problem with it.
No, okay.
So
well, that's good to know.
There we go. But
this
Logan,
movie is very different.
Yes,
this movie takes place in 2029.
So
in a world that I don't understand, I really don't. I don't really.
It's a dystopian type future.
Are we supposed
for mutants? Anyways, it's a dystopian future. Go ahead.
Educate me on what is the last X-Men movie that we saw in semi-present day, because most of these other ones are prequels.
Technically, it was Days of Future Past, because as you know, Hugh Jackman is in that. So obviously, it's like Days of Future Past is interconnecting the old actors with the new actors.
How old is Wolverine?
He's been around since, I think... X-Men Wolverine Origins or whatever it was called, that first Wolverine movie.
When did that?
I don't know if he was in the Civil War.
He's old, right?
Yeah, like because he doesn't age, as quickly as other people do. So I mean, he's at least from the 1800s. I forget exactly when he's from.
So Wolverine was born a mutant,
right,
with healing powers,
correct,
and then became basically this crazy indestructible guy who then was sort of captured and given these experiments with adamantium skeleton.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, because he always had the claws even when he was born.
So he was born in the 1800s.
But they were like bone claws. I don't know exactly, but yeah, he's...
Yeah, it was his bone. They replaced him with the adamantium, yeah.
That's why in Days of Future Past, when he goes back in time, he has the bone claws, not the adamantium.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So he's about 150 years old?
I guess.
Roughly?
Yeah. I saw the first X-Men when it first came out, so I don't know exactly. And I don't even know in the comics how old he's supposed to be. But yeah, I want to say he's 100-something.
We find out from this movie that adamantium, although it gives him great strength, is in fact a poison to his body.
Exactly. Yep. That's what's kind of making him deteriorate. And
he looks like Mel Gibson here.
Yeah, a little bit.
With the fluffy hair and the big beard.
So this 2029 future.
Yeah. Where are we? Yeah. So, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I totally stepped on you here. But yeah, so where are we left? At what year or what's happening at the end of Days of Future Past? I don't remember that. You're saying that's the latest.
So they basically reset everything because everyone hated The Last Stand, which came out in 2006. That was the third X-Men movie, which everyone said they butchered and everything like that.
Part 2 was stupid too.
And they killed off Professor X. They killed off, I think, Jean. Did Jean Grey die at the end?
With the ship and
yeah.
She died.
She died.
Professor X died too.
Yeah, Professor X, Jean Grey killed her, or when she was the Phoenix or whatever, she killed him. I haven't seen that movie in forever either. But anyway, they kind of made it so when they go back in time in Days of Future Past, when they go back to present day because they fixed everything in the past, Professor X is alive, Cyclops is alive because he died in Last Stand. Everyone's alive basically, so everything's happily ever after. So that's the last.
But not for Jean Grey.
No, Jean Grey's there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically what happens, they establish in this movie that Patrick Stewart, Professor X, has been having these seizures, which we see the effects of these seizures. And which I know that's one of your questions probably in the end. That's what he's...
Yeah, but how do we get from...
Done.
How do we get from Days of Future Past to here? How do we get here? There's something. I'm sure there's filler. There's movies coming in between.
One thing is that's what I like about this movie too. It's a standalone movie. They didn't make this movie as a direct sequel to Days of Future Past.
No. That's fine. But what I'm asking is just how do we figure out? So is that just we don't know? I mean, are there empty holes that are yet to be filled here, or are we supposed to know everything that's going on? That's my.
I guess I don't know exactly what you don't know. Like what's
okay. Well, how did Xavier end up in the middle in Mexico in a thing?
Because he's having these seizures, and he killed all the X-Men with his seizures.
And then they
basically
the best solution was to put him in this thing. I mean, they had
where else is he going to put him?
Well, they had what's its name? What's the Cerebro?
Yeah,
I mean that was the first one, so they couldn't.
But when
all they got is this rusty.
You have someone with this powerful mind having these seizures and has dementia, has Alzheimer's and everything. What else are you going to do with him? The government's trying to get him. So
okay, so at what year did Days of Future Past? It was 2011, 12. This is 2029,
right?
So are there going to be movies that fill in between? It must, right? That's kind of what.
They're not. There mustn't. So
there
again,
will not be more X-Men movies.
I think the importance of where Days of Future Past has nothing to do with this movie.
Well, I'm trying to bridge the gap.
I don't think but again,
30-year gap or
because you need to do that. I don't think that's important. This is basically a swan song for Wolverine. This is. Stop
asking these questions.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, this isn't something to like Avengers where it's like, oh, everything has to be interconnected. Like we gotta, advertise the next film.
So you don't anticipate future X-Men movies to explain how Xavier ended up isolated in Mexico.
I don't expect, but they might. But again, this is all about Wolverine. This is about Wolverine's story.
Well, for him too. I mean, how did he end up driving a Chrysler limo in 2029 in Texas, right? I mean,
right.
How do we get here? I'm not saying this movie doesn't answer this. My question is, what's happening in the middle here? Are we going to get answers to that or not? That's my.
I mean, well, what they've been, bringing up in all these X-Men movies is the government does not like mutants. The government wants to destroy these mutants.
Yeah, in this movie we learned that hasn't been a mutant born in so many years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, mutants, they've been able to stop that gene or whatever, but then they're also able to experiment and make, their own powers with the mutants and things like that. So, I mean, I think that's what they're bringing, with, the experiments and everything is how these mutants are able to still come to fruition.
That makes sense. I guess I'll just say this one last thing for this section is that these two characters are brought so low that it's jarring. And I feel like I want, not now, but at some point, to someone to be like, here's how it happened. To see Dr. X, to see Charles Xavier sitting in a rusty can or whatever he's in, having seizures, not knowing where he is, doing Taco Bell commercials, that I don't want to say it offends me, but it bothers me.
Okay.
And to see, Logan driving a Chrysler limo and having to deal with cholos trying to strip his lug nuts and shooting him, it's like they've been brought so low. And I understand that there must be some other war or some other thing that we don't know about. But it just, it's unsettling. And that's part of the credit to the movie. I'm doing side conversation.
Yeah, no, definitely.
This is not a knock on the film.
Yeah.
I want to talk through
and it brings you through that. And it's kind of what would happen if you're the one person who's not affected by, Charles, Professor X's, cause of death for all of your friends. All your friends died in front of your eyes. What kind of state would you be in then? And what's it's kind of I mean it kind of touches on how we.
I have such a high regard for Charles Xavier.
Yeah,
that to see him reduced to such a pathetic old man, it makes me
I think it kind of it touches on you might be this all-powerful mutant and so smart, but they're still not immune to dementia, Alzheimer's, the things that afflict all of our human, elderly
right?
people. Yeah, exactly. They're still going to be affected by this terrible thing,
It's weird to look at.
Yeah,
you're looking at it.
It's a superhero in a sense. So to see them at this level, it's just what is
it's like you look at a picture and then it's like a negative of the picture where you're seeing there's nothing glorified here. This is nitty gritty horribleness and people at the end of their line.
Right.
People have been spent physically, mentally.
Yeah.
And it's really almost sad.
Yeah.
The whole exercise is a sad exercise, this movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sad. I mean, I think that's why it's stuck with me so much. The first, again, this thing about movies, if you're not in the right frame of mind or not in the right state of mind, it can be totally affected, a different way. When I first saw Logan, I enjoyed it. I kept telling myself, I want to like this more. Why didn't I like this more? I watched it again a month ago and it blew me away.
I think I'm with you there too.
I don't know. The
rewatch did a lot for me too.
Yeah. It just, I don't know, just the grittiness of it and the rawness, just as a film, not like talking about the deep things of it. Just well,
you said it's sort of like a Western.
Yeah, Western.
You're on a quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in the desert at all times.
Right.
They're driving instead of on horses. They're driving.
Yeah. You got this. Yeah, and this is just this reluctant hero. He's just that
because he hates everybody.
Right.
Logan has been a pain in the ass to everybody. Right. He's difficult. He's angry. He's got all these issues. And you've got this man, Charles Xavier, who, we all know Dr. X, but there's a deep connection between these two characters.
Right.
Because Xavier basically saved him as a person.
Right, yeah.
And what we see here is sort of like Wolverine's paying his penance, trying to pay back that debt. to Xavier. Why does he drive down there to give him his medicine? They got no reason other than that.
Right. Yeah.
Because look, you saved me. What you did for me. So I'm gonna come down.
I mean, because Professor X even brings that up to him. Like, I brought you in. You were a cage fighter when I found you, which they're calling back to the first movie. Obviously.
Yeah.
But again, you don't have to have seen any of those movies to. I don't think, anyways, to appreciate this movie and to understand the story really it's telling.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But yeah, just the powerful moments of just him saying like, what a disappointment you've become. Like, just like, man, he's digging deep. Like, this is a tough guy who can take at the beginning of the film, he takes a shotgun to the chest and he's stands up again.
What he can't take is for Charles Xavier to call him a disappointment.
Yeah, exactly.
From any other man, that sentence would mean nothing.
Right, yeah.
But coming from Dr. X,
that stings a lot more than that shotgun.
He's like his father figure, basically.
Absolutely.
And he calls him dad in the movie, but still.
How good is Patrick Stewart in this movie?
He's amazing.
Oh my God. Like, this is the best I've ever seen him.
He's very restrained because he normally has a very powerful presence about him. His voice, he has that. He's that like stage actorness about him that he's like punches out, like belts it out to the back row kind of guy. And this, he's not. He's weak. He's sunken. He's deteriorating. And I really feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, because
he takes his medicine.
When you first see him, like, he's going crazy about the Taco Bell commercials. Like, he's just like talking, then he gets his medicine, and like he's brought back to life.
He takes it every time.
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
He? Even in an argument, he takes his medicine.
Yep, takes his medicine. But then it's just like you get you glimpse of the Professor X of how he used to be. And it's just like, man, it's just like sad that naturally he would have been just gone by now. But luckily we have modern day medicine that can
keeps him going.
Yeah, keep him going.
Hugh Jackman's great.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Stephen Merchant's great.
Yeah, Stephen. He's really
little
good.
Girl, Daphne Keane.
Yep, Daphne
Laura.
Keane. Yeah.
Although I did get a little annoyed by the screaming at some point. It does get to be too much. But she's cool. She's great. She's right in there. She's got the glasses. She's she's like doing the locks.
Yeah,
unlock. It's like, stop that. She just keeps doing it.
I love the little, just the images in this movie. Like the trailer brought this out a lot too. That made me notice it more. Just like she's got her hand hanging out the door with her knuckles are bruised and stuff, and it's just like such an interesting sight seeing this broken old man with this girl who's.
So what about a rated R Marvel movie? What about the violence in this movie? What about the swearing? Dr. X says the F word.
I know.
How many times?
That's like I don't know how many, but
like
quite a few.
I'm just saying,
like 5 maybe
at least.
Yeah.
You don't expect that at all.
What?
No.
Which, the grittiness of it definitely takes you back to, how they were kind of held back in the PG-13 versions. Because, I mean, this is essentially what the comics were. Just him, and it basically shows you what the damage Wolverine's claws can actually do.
How many times do we see adamantium claws in someone's skull?
Right,
I mean, 10 times?
Yeah.
I mean, it was never ending. The brutality. This is a brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
Brutal movie.
Sometimes uncomfortably brutal.
It's like almost too much, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The wife was done on the violence.
Right.
Watching this with me. And even me, I'm like, okay, it's enough now.
Yeah, it's rough. I don't think they were doing it to do it.
No.
At some points, maybe they took it a little too far. But I do think it adds to the emotional toll of the movie, because this movie gets emotional. I mean, it does. It's got a lot of emotional weight. It's got a lot of,
especially with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, man.
His groaning, his yearning.
Right,
he just wants peace and like harmony.
Yeah.
And all the people he interacts with. He never really quite gets it with Logan, but somewhat though. I mean, he punches through.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they have that last good night they have with that family they kind of save at the
So I got a question about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, back to the violence. Yeah, it's a little much, especially like the slow motion, like when they're going through the seizures and he's in the hotel
in Vegas,
and stabs like so many people in the head. It's like, ugh. But I think the worst part for me was when they Stephen Merchant, when they open the canopy or whatever, and he's got the sun blaring on him, and it's like burning his flesh. It's like, oh my God,
it's horrible.
That was uncomfortable to watch.
All of it, yeah. It's a brutal movie. I mean, there's no messing around.
Definitely not.
Also, Boyd Holbrook, who played Pierce, the main villain, the blonde guy.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Narcos series on Netflix.
No, I haven't seen it.
He's in the first season.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He's pretty good in this movie.
Yeah.
Very irritating. He has that exactly. Southern...
I think he did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Like, get you under your skin a little. And...
he's like never afraid of anybody. Right. He's like, it's all going to work out.
And I like speaking of which, that reminds me when he first gets in the limo with Logan and tells him, you're the Wolverine. And he tells him how like they found these like gang of like Mexicans, like, which isn't, strange in and of itself, but they were cut up. People thought maybe it was Freddy Krueger or a tiger. He said, which I thought was weird because one of them being fictional, the other being extinct. So they're, it's 2029, so they're saying like tigers are extinct. So I thought that was a little nice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, it's touch. Also like in El Paso, so
yeah, that too.
Not many tigers roaming El Paso.
That
too. We should also, before we go any farther, mention that there's this little girl, Laura. We learned that there's this company called Transigen,
right?
Who's in this,
which Logan seems to already know about, like when he first, gets his card or whatever.
It's kind of the same. What we learned actually even farther is that it's actually the same people who experimented on him,
right?
Years ago, they've basically cloned, because mutant in some way, which I don't deserve an answer because Ben said so. I don't know why mutants have no mutants have been born within so many years. That's okay. This company has figured out a way to clone existing mutants,
right,
through surrogates, and has them isolated in this hospital thing, and they get them experiment on their powers. She's one of the girls. She's a clone of Wolverine. Xavier calls her his daughter, but it's not really his daughter,
right?
I mean, she calls him father, but they're not really. He's not really her parent. I mean, he assumes that role. And Xavier uses it to, I think, get him to establish a connection.
Yeah.
But they're not really...
I mean, I don't know, though, because, they use his DNA, and then they, explained how they have mothers who then disappear. Like, right.
Now,
are they
imagine
his DNA in their...
I guess. A DNA or like a sperm sample.
Right,
say you go to a sperm bank, and then, are you the father? I mean, I guess so. But...
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I see what you mean, though. You're like, yeah.
It's not like it was him and a woman who had a child, and that was her.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she got lost or something.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely different. Yeah.
Right. It was not through his consent or planning or anything. They got his DNA through something. Yeah. But still, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's she's got the same claws. Now, and they also do the adamantium surgery on her.
Right. Yep.
Just got have been horrible on a child.
Yeah. Exactly.
But she's such a badass.
I know. Oh my god!
She's just doing all these acrobats and stabbing people. She's got 2 claws instead of 3, right?
2 claws and then 1 in her foot.
The feet, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. She does what they call her a lion, right?
Yep. Yeah, because Professor X explained how lionesses all do the hunting.
Yeah. Once for offense, once for defense.
Yeah, once. Yeah. So when they hunt,
just like your cats at home, people.
Exactly. But Daphne Crean is great, and I love before we even see her claws come out, she comes out with a severed head because those guys come out.
That was great.
Oh my god, so good.
God, it just sets up for. Well, no, it doesn't even set up brutality. It's just continuing brutality.
Right, yeah, definitely. What did you think of the beginning scene, by the way, with Wolverine when they're trying to steal his tires?
That was awesome. It was so cool. I love it.
And I love it because he's bruised and broken, and
he wakes up drunk.
Yeah,
he's passed out in his car, and they're trying to steal his wheels.
He can barely get his claws out.
Fellas, come on, these are chrome.
Yeah,
they're gonna strip. You're gonna rip and then the guy just shoots him.
Yeah. And even after he gets shot,
SA or whatever they're saying, I don't know, I don't know what I don't know what they called him, but
SA probably.
He just wrecked all of them.
Yeah.
But I love it. Yeah. I love that.
And I love how he's most worried about the car getting shot after he's already been shot. He
jumps in front of the car
he's like,
be shot so that the car won't get any damage.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, but I love how that it kind of I say this a lot in movies, but it sets the tone for the movie.
He's also a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
I mean, wake up in the morning, drink out of the bottle alcoholic. This isn't like get slammed.
He is a broken man.
God, this is whiskey for breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of guy. Just to deal. Well, what we know is his body's deteriorating, which I think he knows.
Yeah,
I don't know if he knows why.
That's why, because even when Stephen Merchant's trying to talk to him, he's like, "I don't want to fight." Then he's like saying like you can't even read that the bottle said ibuprofen. You thought it was Charles Xavier's medicine. Obviously, your eyes are deteriorating,
failing.
And he even says like there's something inside of you that's killing you. I can smell it.
Hey man, it's my skeleton. Yeah, well, there's no solving that.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, they also mean how he's like a broken man mentally. Like just everyone he gets into contact with is just everyone he gets close with ends up dead. You know?
That's the character theme, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's him.
And it's even killing bad guys, eventually,
yeah, that was interesting.
Daphne or Laura says X-23, I think is her official name. She says, I've killed bad people too. And, Logan's like, it's all the same. Like, you still have to deal with that fact that you've...
Well, she tries to justify the people she killed by saying that they're bad. And for him, he's like, no, yes. I mean, we understand the idea that if you kill bad people, morally, that's correct. But for someone who actually has to do the killing, in a way, it doesn't matter because every kill essentially weighs on your soul eventually. Yeah. Even if they're bad, it changes you. It affects you. It hurts you. It messes with you. It's not as though, well, he was bad, so now I'll never think of it again, and it's okay.
I'm good.
It sticks with you. It's a brand, I think they said.
They play, which is off of that Shane movie, which is the movie they're watching in the hotel. It's called Shane. It's an old Western. I've never
seen that. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. Just research I did for the show.
Yeah, because Patrick Stewart refers to it as one of the great movies ever, right?
Yeah, well, maybe. But yeah,
he says something.
This movie's almost 100 years old. But yeah, they talk about how like killing good or bad, it's a brand. It's still gonna
just killing in itself is bad for you to do,
right?
Regardless of why,
right?
There's no even if you're a sheriff, right, and you do everything according to the law, it's still if you're an executioner, right? They're all guilty. Well, we assume, but that. Killing is...
And yeah, I mean, not to get too dark, but just to give you an example, if someone was to barge into my house trying to kill my kids and my wife right now, and I end up killing him, trying to save them, I think I'm still going to be affected by that.
You'll never forget the feeling of taking another person's life.
Right, exactly.
It's never you can't get rid of it.
Right.
It will change you.
Right. Yeah. It's so
imagine doing that hundreds of times, thousands of times.
So
hundreds of thousands of times.
Yeah, done this so many times. Like,
how many people has Wolverine killed?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands, maybe.
Yes,
I don't know.
Probably
it's got to be high.
But yeah, and then just that, and on top of just seeing all of his friends are dead now, and just even if his friends didn't all die, obviously he lives longer than other people have. So seeing people die, there's something. Is it Green Mile or something that he's seen other people? Basically, if you live, forever, you're still gonna be hurt because you're seeing everyone else die.
It's its own form of hurt. Yeah, I guess there's a new era going here where all of the old X-Men are gone,
right,
and will be gone, and then maybe going forward there will be something new, like whatever this group of kids that find their way.
And that's kind of what Professor
hospital.
X is trying to get Logan to realize that you don't realize the grasp of what we're doing. And
all right, so we got to talk about Charles' death.
Yep. Which you had questions about the family that they're...
Not the family. Well,
so this is all you have?
Yeah. Well, this is actually a really cool scene. They're driving... The little girl... In one of the X-Men comic books, there is this place called Eden,
right,
which has a set of coordinates on it. And this is the battle, right? The kids have escaped the hospital, and then they want to go to this place called Eden. And they want Logan to take them to Eden, which is someplace in North Dakota. He's like, no, it's not real. This is fake. This is This is a comic book.
At first, he agrees to take her there.
Yeah, he's like, look, I'm Wolverine, yes, but what you're reading here is not true.
All the stuff that a lot of the stuff has not happened, and
so so they go on this trip. They take Charles out. He's gonna get. They want to. Well, Charles is basically a wanted fugitive.
They said one of the guys says I think his brain is classified as a weapon of mass destruction. And
the same goes for little Laura, because we see with chopping off heads and doing all that sort of thing. Can't allow that to happen.
Right.
So they go on this road trip. They meet this family who's Eric LaSalle from ER, if anybody knows him.
Yep.
There's a really cool scene on the highway here where they now we're in a world where there are autonomous tractor-trailer trucks who zoom at 90 miles an hour and just basically barrel through or over anyone in their way. And then this family they have a set of horses. They get run off the road, and then they're trying to get them. They're all over the place, and Charles just uses his mind. I love this scene.
I know.
He just sort of calms the horses, and just has them go back to where they're supposed to go. I don't know what it is about the scene. The chaos of the trucks with like the calmness of whatever he's doing mentally.
They kind of like slowly build up to him like closing his eyes and then like calming them down. It's like he gets one last like.
It's one of my favorite scenes of this entire movie.
That's a good call.
And they end up at these people's house having dinner. This is another really good scene. They're making jokes. He was a teacher, and Logan wasn't one of the best students, which he wasn't.
Right, yeah.
And then later, Charles ends up in bed and saying, "This is one of the best nights I've ever had." And then he starts saying, "I wish I could have done things differently." And I really didn't quite catch what he was saying, and I tried to put the subtitles on, and they didn't work. And then we see a clone of Wolverine, who we saw earlier, basically just stabs him in the heart and kills him.
Yeah, because you see a figure come in, and that's who Charles is talking to is Logan. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's basically saying, this is the most perfect night I've had in a long time, and I don't deserve it. I know I did something a long time ago. You won't tell me, but I had I don't know if he said he had a flashback or something, but I know what I did.
So was it the seizure?
Yeah, it was one of the seizures that it ultimately killed, the X-Men that were at the mansion.
So that's what it was. Okay, yeah. I didn't remember if that.
And so yeah, he's feeling that guilt, like, I don't deserve this this night I had.
So from that moment, he got taken away from there to that hideaway place, and that's where we are.
Yeah, because the reason I know this because they keep mentioning on the radio. I think even the villain brings it up. How I want to say a year ago, 600 people were affected, and many of the X-Men were killed. Like they said that on the one of the radio scenes. So you have to
a year. You mean 2028?
I guess so.
But we don't see that in the movies.
No, we don't see it in the movies. Exactly. So I mean,
so we don't have any.
We don't have any prior knowledge. We just have what was said on the radio. That was my question. Okay.
So we didn't see what he's referring to.
Right. We didn't actually see
that was what I was asking in the beginning. I'm sorry. Yeah, just to be clear here.
Okay. So yeah, in previous movies, we did not see what he was referring to.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I wasn't. Well, we battled there for about 10 minutes, but
I know.
No, that's what I was asking.
Okay.
Do we know really what he's talking about?
I thought you were asking me because maybe I knew the comics or something.
Well, no, just in general.
Okay.
So we don't really know what we don't know what he's referring to here.
Correct. From what we've seen in previous movies, we do not know what he's referring to.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Glad we got to that.
All right. 40 minutes later, we know the answer.
But it's a beautiful scene.
But it's all about
sad scene.
Yeah.
I feel so sad for Charles Xavier.
My God.
Oh my God, my heart breaks for the guy.
Especially because he said he had this perfect night, and he even says, I don't deserve it. It's just man, he's being so hard on himself. People can do that today. Just be so hard on themselves for something that's not even their fault.
This guy just really wanted to help people. It's really all he wanted to do. He didn't want to be violent. He didn't want to be rough on anybody. He didn't want to upset anyone's life. He just wanted to help.
Right.
And the poor freaking guy, he ends up. I just feel so. I guess that's what I don't like. When I say I don't like about the movie, but what makes me feel uneasy is to see these, especially Xavier. Wolverine, I can understand him being a broken man, but to see Xavier fall so far down, it just upsets me. And to see him die like this upsets me even more. The man deserved something, some more dignity than what happened to him.
Definitely. And that's why I think this, again, it's hard to watch and it's sad, but I think that's what sets this above so many, most comic book movies. The emotional weight this movie has.
100%. In the context of this movie, it's amazing and beautiful. But for the context of the character at large, I just feel so bad for him.
I know. But
it's still it's a beautiful end. It's sad.
And I love and just Logan's reaction to it too. He comes up and he's like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." He wants to assure
it was the other Logan. Because is he the only person he really feels that sense?
Yeah, this is the second time in a row where Daphne Keene, Laura, they're at the whatever thing they were at, the desert wherever they were before. He's like, I'm just taking Professor X and leaving her here. I don't care about her. And even when he sees the other Logan taking her away, he's like, lets her go and is going to Professor X. So he's definitely is still not connected to her and other people. He's just concerned about him. And
I mean, other than Jean Grey, it's Professor X, right?
Yeah, I mean he's, and I think it kind of touches on what he says at the end, as he's dying, which obviously we'll get to, but he's says, so this is what it feels like, I think, to really care about someone and really love someone, and
he eventually comes around,
right?
To Laura, yeah. Eventually,
definitely, yeah. Eventually,
and that's a hard one,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
it's rough stuff.
I know. Yeah,
you don't expect it.
Yeah, and then to see that family that took them in,
just get brutally murdered.
They're brutally murdered.
Horribly,
yeah.
Not even just, okay, one shot, you're done. It was like the most awful way to go.
Oh, man.
For their own, just being nice for taking them in. Their reward for being nice people is to get just awfully killed.
But before that, I love some of the badassery of this movie. Just when he's trying to turn back on the water, and those people guys come up, and Wolverine's like, "Get lost!" And it's just like
he's like does he cocks the shotgun. He's like, this sound. He's like, yeah, and then he
and then Logan
kicks his ass, and he does it himself.
Yeah, it was great. So great. Yeah, and he breaks the gun.
Yeah,
I love
smacks it.
There's so many. There's great moments like that in this movie. It's just so great. It's emotionally heavy.
That was the end of Xavier, and then we get the end of Logan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of what we get to. They get to
this is the end of the character.
You see they're trying to escape to the Canada border,
right?
And
he drives all the way up to North Dakota. They
establish that there's this serum that heals people, heals the clone of Logan, but it makes him more powerful.
It's temporary,
yeah,
and he's dying.
Yeah,
which we've known. Laura comes right out and says, "You're dying," which, in case you were confused, you're dying. You're dying. I mean, his skeleton is poisoning him. He's not healing quite enough anymore, and he's at this point where he's got to make a choice of what he's going to do with the last bit of life he has left, and it's to help save these kids.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It really is nice.
That's why I love this whole. I mean, just as a film too, just this character arc, just like how he started off in the film, just drunken mess and not caring about anyone,
anger and rage.
Yeah, exactly.
He used it for something good.
Yeah, exactly, and
selflessly.
Yeah, and he uses that serum and gets more powerful. He knows it's probably going to kill him because even the kid said, only take this certain amount. The whole amount will, it won't be good. It'll probably kill you.
But he was going. He didn't have time left anyway. He might as well just take it all and do what you can.
And they already established that he had this antimanium bullet that, which can, you kind of just figure out as an audience that, okay, obviously that can kill him.
Right. He's been carrying it around for him for suicide.
Yeah, exactly.
Purposes, because that's the only thing that'll pierce his skull.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, obviously a big action sequence at the end. The
clone throws him up on a tree.
Ooh, yeah.
You get this huge broken branch through his stomach and chest, and
he's basically trying to tell them to run while he's fighting him, and
then the kids start getting some courage and using their powers against,
which is cool to see.
Guys,
these kids might be the future of mutants, and
the girl she blows the cold air on the one soldier's arm and just breaks off. It's not even just ice; it's like ice and then blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything
gotta give that extra
this
little
is rated R.
And this actually comes after Deadpool, which obviously came out I think a year before this, and
seems
was
almost as gory as that.
Yeah, which Deadpool, I don't know, it seems less brutal just because it's funny.
Yeah,
exactly.
Laughing.
Yeah, exactly.
This one, there's really no laughs.
Right.
I mean, there are some chuckles, but they're not good ones.
Yeah,
and it's
not good. I don't feel good about it.
This is a dark film.
Yeah, definitely.
And then so Laura goes up to him. He's stuck on this tree. She kind of cuts him loose, and then it's just Logan dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
And after, also I wanted to mention after Professor X dies, just after he buries him and he's trying to say something, and just great acting there by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Just says something about water and,
because he wanted to buy a boat.
Right.
Actually, that's a question I have. So
in the water.
He was going to do $70,000 for a boat. Was that a sort of a double, I don't want to say suicide, but kind of just go off into the sunset and their lives on their own terms?
I think because he knows he can physically handle his seizures or whatever. But
because Xavier can't live out on the water,
right?
Because he needs his medication,
right? Exactly.
Logan's dying, so that was their. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I don't know if Professor X knew that, but yeah, I think that's what Logan's plan was.
It's not a bad.
But just after that burial, that scene, and when Daphne Keane holds his hand, it's just like that moment, just so great,
so nice. And then they bury him under rocks, and then there's like a cross, and then she tilts the cross over and making.
Oh
X.
my God, that
nice. She says a few words.
Yeah, even the first time I saw it, like that's a moment that just is like, oh my God, that's awesome, because this movie's about legacy too.
Yeah,
they keep mentioning that.
He's an X-Men.
The little requiem she gives is basically the monologue we hear from that Western movie when they're watching it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, I didn't know what that. Okay, that makes sense now.
That's where she says it's a brand, killing good or bad. It's a brand. There's no. There's no more guns in the valley. Is what the character in that Shane movie says.
Because it's the lesson of this movie is that killing. Well, although we see a lot of it, killing is bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anything, and you need to. It puts a brand on you or a stain or something on your soul.
You still have to live with it.
Yeah,
it's even if living with it kills you, he's bringing you down and killing you.
This is a great end for this character because there's really nothing left for him to do at this point,
right?
I mean, unless he's gonna live forever, but he's he's old, not old, but he's grizzled, he's older, he's past middle age,
right?
Well, what's he gonna do,
right?
And what he does is he redeems himself,
right? Exactly,
and saves. Not his daughter, but sort of.
Yeah, it's sort of his daughter, but also
and then a whole group of
the future of mutant,
the next generation.
Yeah, exactly, the next generation. Because they can. He knows what mutants can bring to this world, and the good they can bring, and the protection they can bring. And
it's a sacrifice.
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
it works. And wow, what a powerful movie!
Yeah, and just Hugh
unexpected.
Jackman. Yeah, unexpected is indeed right, because the two Wolverine movies came out. And it wasn't well received by critics and wasn't well received by myself. But yeah, this next week.
Which one? There was two Wolverines.
Yeah, the Wolverine was a lot better than X-Men Origins.
Now, James Mangold, I think, directed The Wolverine.
Right.
Who directed this one. He also directed, just to say, 310 to Yuma. Do you like that one? I like that a lot.
Yeah, I saw it once.
I was a big fan of that one. Christian Bale.
I wasn't a big fan, but but it was decent.
I like that one a lot. Kate and Leopold. You ever see that?
No, I never saw that. That's Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah. I gotta say, for a romantic comedy, I kind of like this one.
I mean, I like rom-coms.
He's like a delusional, count from somewhere.
And it's like modern
time
day.
travel.
Yeah.
So he's has this air of a. I don't know. It's actually kind of nice.
I mean, Hugh Jackman's good in a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie.
He directed Copland. Which I think we talked about it a couple.
Yeah. Oh shucks. Sylvester
Stallone as the horrible, but still funny movie.
I like Hugh Jackman. You blew. I like Hugh Jackman a lot. I mean, even that Greatest Showman, which he's great.
So was he better in Greatest Showman or in Logan?
Get out of here, Logan. I think Patrick Stewart should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
He's so good. He was great,
without a doubt. But yeah, that ending with the cross and turning it into an X was just so for an ending of a movie, but also just as a comic book movie fan,
that's good stuff. Great stuff.
Legacy of what these heroes can bring, to people's lives, to have such an impact on young people's lives.
Well, the movie's interesting because it allows us to get a backfill on a story. It basically it plots out a mark in the sand ahead of us, and then sets the stage going farther, but also allows something to happen between. Well, we know it's going on with the other movies up until that point.
Right. Yeah.
But it actually, even though it's a standalone, it's sort of a small movie, it's kind of important in this whole universe for future films.
But I like the exposition where it's not spelled out for you, like it's in the radio, you just have to kind of piece things together.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I really like it. Phenomenal.
I mean, honestly, I put it over the years, it might be number one in my book for comic book movies. I mean, right now it's behind Dark Knight. For number one comic book movie, but right now I think I have it as just my number two comic book movie of all time.
I just had a thought, and I said Mel Gibson, and now this movie kind of reminds me of Bloodfather.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I've heard people compare it to like Unforgiven, the Western with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. And I can see that too. This is definitely a Western, but like I just remind me of
it's true.
Bloodfather thing. You sacrifice yourself. You've got a daughter. Yeah. You're going through this thing, and then you get the great Professor X stuff.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on in this film. I know, and really well done. I'm really glad.
The more I see it, it's just outstanding.
Really, this is not a necessary film. This one didn't have to be made.
No, not at all.
It's just a good story.
And it's like kind of like it's like the swan song for Hugh Jackman, because I mean, supposedly this is the last time as Wolverine.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too, because make the best your last. I mean,
he couldn't have done better than that,
right?
I don't know if there was a really demand for this film per se, but it was one that we even if we didn't know we wanted it, it was one that we needed.
I mean, how are you ranking this higher for comic book movies? I mean,
it's got to be up near the top somewhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to really compare it to most other ones. I mean, this one I think would have to start competing against like Iron Man or something like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, really, because it doesn't fit at all. It's totally apples and oranges to talk about it compared to like Avengers or something. It's got to be with other standalones. I think this one is just its own film in a lot of ways. It doesn't even. You could see this without knowing anything.
Right? Yeah. It's just I don't know. I watched it again, like a month ago, and then I watched it again before the show. And I can watch it again tomorrow, I think. And
it's really good.
Yeah, it's just so good. I watched the black and white version.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
It's great. I'm glad I saw the color version first, but the black and white version definitely adds a lot, to the tone of the film and in the feeling of it.
What do you got for a rating on this puppy?
I'm going to give this film 4 stars and 3 buckets of popcorn, just because the brutality of it and the emotional weight of the movie definitely can make it so it's not as rewatchable. But 4 stars, 3 buckets of popcorn. How about you?
I'm at 3.5 and 3.5 for both.
Okay, yeah,
it's a good movie. I really like it. I mean, maybe I could see this on a third watch bumping it up to 4 stars.
Yeah,
I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I think it's more popcorn for me than you.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it, but. I guess some of the questions I had, which we worked through, it's not a big deal. As a standalone, as a part of a universe, it's all good. The question, I guess, is how much violence and brutality do you have a stomach for?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why.
The only thing
the
like
violence brought it down for me. Yeah.
But I mean, that's popcorn to me. I mean,
well, that's what it brought it down for popcorn for me. Yeah.
Less popcorn for more stabbings in the head.
Yeah, just because how uncomfortable it made me feel.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah. But really good film. I'm so glad we did this movie. I'm so glad I watched this one again.
Yeah, I know. It's
great stuff.
I agree. But yeah, black and white, again, it adds a lot to
Last question. Do you know of
tone of the movie?
Any other Fox Marvel movies coming out in the pipeline?
There's a Phoenix one coming out with Sophie Turner, because she was Phoenix, Jean Grey in Days of Future Past. And
try to think of something that could bore me even more than that.
God. That was supposed to come out this year, but I think it was delayed.
Just kill it, please.
Yeah. But yeah, Infinity War, again, we record these shows in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity War, I'm going to see tomorrow morning. Can't wait for that.
I'm going to see it in the theater. I'm determined.
Yes, please do. And then, hopefully we'll get a review for you guys. And actually, before this episode airs, we might even have a review for you guys.
We're going to do Infinity War in some way, either through Skype or through our next show. Right, we're going to talk it. Right?
Definitely. We got to. All right, so yeah,
because we did Avengers and then we did Age of Ultron. We got to talk Infinity War. I mean, actually, and I rewatched Ant-Man and I rewatched Doctor Strange.
Nice.
So look at me now, Mr. Marvel guy.
Look at this guy. What a nerd.
I'm actually curious.
What a nerd this guy is.
Yeah, I hate the nerds. There were how many? 18 movies?
18. Yep.
Actually, I want you to quiz me on the ones I maybe haven't seen. I feel like I've seen almost all of them now. I've seen all 3 of the Thors.
I know the last one. Did you, though?
Yeah, the second one I didn't. That's the one where they're on that weird like ice planet, right? With the elves, the green. Yeah, elves, I had seen that. When I started, I'm like, yeah, I know this one. Thor 3 is amazing. Jeff Goldblum. Whatever's going on with Jeff Goldblum.
My God. Thor 3, like, the more I watch it, the more fun I have with it.
It's like 80s, 80s, like, futurism weirdness going on. Thor 3 is 18. Hilarious.
Did you saw the Captain America's Winter Soldier? You saw, okay.
All the Iron Mans.
Ant-Man. You didn't see Black Panther yet, right?
I haven't seen Black Panther.
Okay, so that might be the one you haven't seen. So look at you.
17.
Look at you. And then July, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out.
I'll see that for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's such a fun movie because that's one of the ones you just watched. Or not just watch, you watch it again.
Yeah, so that one's going to be Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly.
Right. So because we didn't have her as the Wasp.
She was in it, but not. Right. Yeah, she's going to don the suit. Yeah, they show that at the end of Ant-Man. I remember now. See, these are these little details that.
Yeah,
they make sense when you see, when you watch it like 2 days ago.
Right.
But then like 6 months from now, you're like, what are they talking about?
They can get jumbled. Yeah,
Doctor Strange, I love. Doctor Strange, I almost want to do as a show, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that. Maybe before Ant-Man, we'll do that.
We will see.
All right, folks. Well, we got Deadpool 2 coming out soon too. Maybe we'll do Deadpool.
So that's Marvel?
Yeah. Well, no, Fox. Sorry. Because we're talking about Logan. We just talked about Logan. So
that is the next upcoming Fox then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I just thought of that. Yeah, Fox.
So we'll never see Deadpool in a Captain America Iron Man thing until they make a freaking deal with the goddamn studio to get this character in the movie. Great.
Correct.
Great, thanks.
Correct. Well, can you imagine
it's like the old studio wars in the 20s.
Do you want Deadpool in a PG-13 movie?
No.
Yeah.
But
because you liked the first Deadpool?
Yeah, I really did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I really
did. June we have Sicario 2 coming out, so I definitely want to do a Sicario
I saw the
show.
Preview for that for the last when I was in the theater the other day.
Yeah,
good stuff for A Quiet Place, which is nice. I want to talk about that. Wow, lots of movies to talk about.
We'll definitely do Quiet Place.
Who's directing Sicario 2 though?
Oh yeah, it's not Denis Villeneuve.
No, Denis.
I think it might be Sheridan who actually wrote it. He did Hell or High Water. He did Wind River.
Okay.
So it might be Sheridan.
I haven't seen Hell or High Water yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, definitely. If you liked Wind River, you will love Hell or High Water.
I like Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen putting on her pants.
There you go. All right, folks. Where can people find you on Twitter, Dave?
You can find me at Dave_Quist.
You can find me at BCCourt and find our show at BlockbusterCast. Be sure to follow us on iTunes and YouTube. Give us comments on YouTube, comments on iTunes.
Love a discussion.
Just give us support.
Hey, let's talk, guys.
Patreon and be a patron on Patreon.
Whatever you guys can do, we would love it.
Yes, please. All right, folks. Well, that is it for us. For Davo, I'm Ben Secord. And as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys.
Snack 'em,